Okay, so we are back in the studio, and we're here to recap about how the CGA is going. We've gone through game 1 and 2, the Thundercats winning the first point, and the Killer Clams winning the second point. And today we have Fugo, the owner of the Mambas, and Karma, owner of the Barracudas, with us. And we just want to kind of talk about the game that just happened, the worst ball. It was the Mambas against the Killer Clams. The Killer Clams took the victory, and it was one of the longest games we've ever been a part of. There was only one course they had to play, and it was over 2 hours. It was absolutely incredible, I thought. It was tedious, but it was extremely riveting, and we could not look away. We learned a lot, too, because these players are highly skilled players, and they were talking all strategy, and we got to hear everything. It was awesome. But one strategy that one team used, shout out Mambas, is a fart machine. Shout out to Master Dominator. We were not sure if that was real, bodily functions happening or a fart machine. And I think we finally figured out it was a fart machine. I thought it was real, and I was concerned for his health, but no, we realize now that it is fake, and he was trying to do that to distract and I don't know, add some comedy, and I'll let you guys listen to a little bit of that right now.
And it's just
Nice.
Oh, you hear the early call from Dom there. I think we'll be hearing a lot of that tonight.
Okay, so I got the go for the 8.
You usually do.
right, Frommel. I feel like Dudeness puts this close every time. He's in a great spot to actually make this.
You go straight at it.
Dom's having some digestive issues, it seems.
The chat is starting to keep a record of farts and disconnects. That's where we're at.
5 miles
That's where we're at.
So yeah, he wasn't doing it in anybody's backswing, and it was just subtle, here and there. But the viewers definitely picked up on it, and they were joking, yeah, are we going to start counting the farts? So I don't know how the other players felt about that, if they were just ignoring it. I'm sure they heard it. I don't know if it's distracting or not.
I'll take that one. I'm sure Fugo has his notes on that as well. But I mean, every time Dom lines up for a putt, the fairway quickly turns into the fart way. The crowd goes silent but deadly. The tension's building, and then you get. So we're out here trying to sing birdies, and he's out here crop dusting the competition. I mean, honestly, is this intimidation by flatuation? Is this a strategy?
I think, I don't know what reaction he wanted from people. My reaction was, I am concerned for this man's health. He is having so much flatulence. He needs to either call a doctor, go to the ER, change his diet, get some probiotics. I don't know what's going on, but...
Or put on a diaper. Do what you got to win the game, I guess.
I'm glad to hear he's okay and it's actually not coming out of his body.
I mean, I think HIPAA regulations prohibit me from getting any deeper into the fact that Friday was burrito night in the Mambas clubhouse, and we're looking at ways to mitigate that in the future. We hate to see the shit go down like that on any course.
Well, we can start a GoFundMe for Beano. I mean, that's always an option.
The shit really hit the fan in that match. Oh, sorry,
yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of that match, and it went extremely long, although we were, on the edge of our seats. We do want to keep the CGA games around an hour, and that's why we decided to do one course instead of 2, which can put you over an hour, sometimes 2. If games continue to extend to that extent, we may have to put a shot clock into place to speed things up, because the production crew don't want to be in a game like that for 2 hours, especially when we're just trying to be there for only an hour. We want to keep these short and sweet and fun and competitive. And I know that some games will go long like that. And I did appreciate the length of that game, and I thought it was amazing. But yeah, we do want to be careful in the future. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, Jen, yes, I agree. That was quite possibly the longest recorded match in WMG history. I mean, at this pace, I don't think we need a shot clock. We might need a new calendar, because by the time they finish the next hole, it's going to be next season.
So next topic is going over to Fugo. I want to see how Fugo felt about the match he just witnessed his team play. And there's also the shot heard around the world on hole 17. That's been quite controversial in the community. I know we all have thoughts about that. What do you think, Fugo?
The fact that it's the shot heard around the world and it was a layup speaks volumes. I'm not sure. Everybody's questioning the strategy, but in effect, the strategy worked. The idea was to lay up, get no worse than a 4, because you could lay up again, and then make the putt over the bridge, which was set up perfectly by Frommel. The putt just didn't go in. The putt was there. It's not like the strategy failed to produce a putt that was viable. The putt was viable. It just didn't go in. And those things happen, but I wouldn't question the strategy. And I'm certainly not going to do it with my teammates. Dudeness was in the game. It was his call as co-captain. His teammates followed his lead. It was good to see his leadership be taken so easily and without any question, really, other than you guys. And then the putt was there. He makes the putt, we win the game. It just didn't go in. And I'm not mad at Frummel for that. I'm proud of Frummel for having the guts to take a putt that's really just got that much riding on it, and he almost canned it. He missed it by about half a ball left. That's it.
If you go back and watch it, you can hear his dudeness say, "We just need to play this safe. We just need to push this hole. Like, let's not go crazy." And I think it was a smart play because it kept Frummel safe. It kept him in the game, and yeah, he was there to make that putt, and that is definitely within his range. He missed it. That happens, but I think his dudeness was.
I do hear your argument, though. I hear these, but I got to say, Frummel did miss that putt on the bridge, but that was his fourth shot. That easily could have been his third shot if he would have been trusted by his teammates to make that first putt. I mean, the reality is that both his partners were already over there in a great position for potentially a 3. You're one shot away from possibly locking down that match if you trust them. And that's not to say they didn't trust him. Maybe the circumstances played into it. They were playing it on the safe side. But by going for that layup shot, I mean, Gonzo's ball was not in a terrible position. I think Dudeness referred to it as, a tough position. And I agree. I mean, maybe it's a 50-50 ball to make it to that bridge. But to put the pressure on Frummel to then hit an even harder layup shot to have a chance at a 3, you're right, Fugo. He was in a position where if he made that putt on the bridge, he could have tied that hole. But I think the reality is that Zonk also had a very good chance of laying that ball up and getting that 3, and then he wouldn't have even had that chance. So I wouldn't have chose that strategy. I do understand where you're coming from and where Dudeness was coming from with that strategy. But I do remember you saying on the stream right when it happened, Fugo, that you did not like that decision.
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. Maybe I did at the time, but if I did, that's regrettable, and I take that back. I rescind that. After thinking of it, this play here. This is what's great about it. It illustrates the differences in how players play the game, and there are conservative players and there are more go for it or liberal players. And I'm not talking politics at all. I'm just talking about strategies and effective modes of getting through a hole with the lowest score possible, with the least amount of risk. And some players go for it and some players don't. I'm backing my co-captain's play. He was in the game. I was not in the game. I was watching the game, and I think that's different. He was leading his team. He led his team. He gave us a putt to win. We didn't make it. And we'll live and learn on. Maybe we'll do something different next time, but maybe we won't. I thought it was a great game. I mean, it was one of the greatest games I've ever watched. Instant Classic doesn't even begin to do it. It taught us some things about how we should be mindful of our time and time between shots. I think that's an issue as well. Should we eat burritos before the game? Maybe we should. Maybe we shouldn't. And that's what's great about the CGA. It brings these things to light. Lets us talk about it. Lets us have a discussion. The Mambas were stronger for this. We didn't get to point, but we got some teach, and we're going to be better, and we're going to be ready to go on the 27th. We're looking forward to the games this week to see how everybody else plays out, what they're looking like as we come in. But I got to tell you, we're looking forward to our matchups coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. Absolutely. Sorry for cutting you off, Jen. You go.
Oh, it was a hell of a match, and I'd love to watch his Dudeness as co-captain really lead these guys, and everybody followed his lead, and it was fantastic. And I think his Dudeness did make a good call. Keep Frummel safe. He trusted that he could lay that up to get it across the bridge, and I think it went as well as it could. And props to him and your team. I think y'all played amazing.
No, I mean, I agree to disagree. I mean, we could talk all day in circles on this. I think it was the wrong move, but let's talk a little bit about the Killer Clams. I mean, they really were tested in this match. They were down 3 late into the match. They showed some serious resilience, and I think they should be very proud of this well-earned victory.
Yeah, they had a really good comeback, but El Jorge, that's what he's known for. He will be down, but he will have a killer comeback, and yeah, I think he's the comeback king. And I said it in that stream. I said, El Jorge is the guy that's going to come back and win this. And he did. So, yeah, he's definitely staying true to that.
I bet he wanted that putt back on 10, though.
He did probably want that putt back, and that's great. A great call, Fugo. I mean, we were surprised to see Jorge miss that putt, and Frommel miss his putt. Very shocking on both halves there.
It just shows when the stakes are high that it's very difficult to execute in any avenue of the world. And with these guys, they're some of the best players, if not the best in the world, and they're still going to yoke some putts. It's a very, very tense environment. It's really the first time that we've had this type of level of team play with this caliber of talent, and the stakes are high. And it showed in the first game.
Especially, right? In worst ball, your mistakes are magnified, and the pressure is magnified as well. And you saw it, no bigger than those putts on 10.
I think could it have been 25 minutes shorter? Absolutely. Do we need like a 45-second shot clock? Maybe. Those are bigger discussions and more macro discussions. But for what it was, I have watched that match 3 times in the last day, and I get prouder and I feel better about our team every time I watch it.
As you should. I think you guys played extremely well. And of course, there were some issues going on the Clams end with Gonzo and his connection as well, which I'm sure was tough to play with.
There was so many side issues and different things happening. Dom had an unstable internet connection. Gonzo was Gonzo half the time.
The game went really smooth, though, with Gonzo coming in and out. The game just kept going. It never stopped because he was, connecting and disconnecting.
It showed how good these players are and that they've been in these environments and rooms for years, and people pop in and out. It's nothing. It looks extreme in a 2-hour live stream only because we're playing that long, but internet outages and glitches and all that stuff are just part of our game. We've dealt with it for years. And were they worse in this last game? Did they cost us maybe 15 more minutes of runtime? Probably. But I was happy with the match. I was happy with the tempo for the most part. And I thought the shot selection and I thought both teams' communication was extraordinary. And it was a huge teach on the course, an educational moment. If you'll take a few moments to watch the match and really look at like the recovery shots, you could teach yourself how to get a 20 under on tennis hard really easy by watching that match.
That is a legendary match. That is going to go down in history. I appreciated every single moment of it, and I wish we could do that every time, but we can't. But I don't regret any of that, taking as long as it did. I thought it was fantastic. But we do have some production crew that was like, that nearly killed me. So we'll be careful next time.
Well, if we keep doing that, we're going to stroke out in literal physical sense. It was a tense. It was excruciatingly nerve-wracking for everyone. The tension kept building with every spare moment of time that we got. It was filled with more drama and more angles, and I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah, you're right. I can see where we would want to have a discussion about a shot clock, whether it's 30 seconds, 45 seconds, I don't know. That's a deeper discussion, but I think it should be entertained in that mode. Other modes, such as like the team triple threat, team doubles, those things go a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Less players, more action, and quicker game modes may not require a shot clock, but maybe worst ball and maybe even best ball might.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it depends on the match, like you said, in the format. And in this particular match, I don't think that the time really played as much of a factor because it was such an exciting match. You couldn't have scripted a better, back and forth and more of an exciting hole-to-hole breakdown. So I think this match, even though it did take a lot longer than some would have hoped, it was such an exciting match that this time didn't necessarily impact the excitement of the viewing experience. But had it been a one-sided match, it could have been a different story. So I think it is something to think about for worst ball. Maybe not this season, but maybe next.
It was exaggerated by 5 playoff holes, which further extended the time of the match, which is unlikely. That those matches don't usually go that many holes. There's some other considerations as well, but all in all, I think if all we're talking about is that we're upset at how long the game mode went, I think the match and the game mode itself was an absolute banger. It was so good. It shows the value of the CGA right away, and those things are they're immeasurable. They're priceless, and I think that match showed what this league could be and will be as we move forward.
We've seen from some of the comments. I'm sorry, John. We've seen from some of the comments that they love that the commentary kind of walked them through the match. Worst ball might be a hard game to translate to a wider audience, so I think it's good how I kind of explained it and had time to explain what was going on each shot.
The match was so good, it did not feel like it was over 2 hours. I think at one point somebody had said, it's been an hour and a half. And I was like, no way. Because it was it was gripping, right? Did not feel like it was that long when we were in there watching. So.
I did notice at about the hour and a half mark that the match was running what I would have considered long in time. And as the owner and coach of the team, I felt that was a negative, that the longer the match wore on, the more psychologically and physically tired the team would be. And I know that happens on both sides, but those are when mistakes are made.
Not to mention battery life, right? At that point, you got to be concerned.
I was also concerned that, Dom went out of the game a couple of times late, and I'm like, oh no, I hope his headset didn't die, because he alluded to it a couple times during the match. So there was all kinds of side angles and drama that unfolded during the match, but the fact that it was successful and we pulled it off was a testament to it, and that the players played so well for so long, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, we have the next worst ball match coming Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern. It's going to be the Barracudas versus the Direwolves. Let's have a look at the players that's going to be playing. So it's going to be Indy, Juice WRLD, and JTVC for the Barracudas. And for the Direwolves, it's going to be Bad Wolf, the owner, Tiger Weeds, and Corn Dog. Now, Karma, this is your team, and these are your players. How are you feeling about Tuesday?
Oh man, Hibernation is hyped for this matchup. The Barracudas have been putting in the work. Let me tell you, Indy, JT, and Juice, they're training. They're locked in. They're ready for this matchup. Confidence is not a question right now. We know what we are. We know who we are, and we're coming to make a statement in this one.
It's good to hear. Awesome. All right. Well, hopefully that'll be an incredible match. I expect that it will be. And we'll wrap this up by, Karma, if you want to give us a rundown on the weekly. We had some CGA players.
We noticed, when evaluating the weekly and what a fun week it was. Thank you, Jen, for, recording 3 of those matches and letting us all kind of see a little bit of insight as to how it went this week. But noticing a couple of things on the leaderboard. We have Lean Into It representing the Sharks. He actually got #1 spot this week. So huge shout out to Lean Into It. Very well played. Put together incredible scores on both courses, more notably the 27 under on El Dorado Easy, putting him in the top 3 score overall ever on that course in the weekly. And then shout out to my Barracuda teammate, Indy. He placed podium this week, #3. I was in that match with him. He played very well. Left a couple shots out there. I'm sure he wished he had him back, but very impressed with their performances, and just appreciate the performances they put on for us this week. And Lean Into It was not in a live stream or recording, but Indies you can actually rewatch back.
Yeah, yep, that's right. Awesome. Well, yeah, it was a fun weekend with the weekly.
And shout out to Fugo. You played great as well, Fugo.
Yeah, Fugo, we got to record Fugo. He played awesome.
And I think if you watch my round, you'll see what just a couple of small mistakes along the way can cost you a podium, can cost you a top 10. I finished right outside of the top 10, but I still had a good week, and I had a really fun time.
Yeah, and we're always talking, Fugo. You say that the weekly is often an indicator as to the players in the CGA and their success. So you kind of see that here. You're seeing our, CGA teammates at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, kudos to the Barracudas players this week. They really showed out really nicely, and it just not only them, but I think 15 or 20 of the top 40 were CGA players. I mean, CGA players really showed their worth in the weekly this week, and it was nice to see, and they have for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're seeing a translation of skill.
As well.
Yeah, and it's nice to see those who were picked in the CGA really focusing in. It looks like the CGA players as a whole, as an entire conglomerate of players, are really showing their worth in recent tournaments.
Shout out to my Barracuda teammate JTVC with a -42 as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys have anything else, let me know, or we can end it here. And again, we'll be looking forward to Tuesday night. It's going to be an exciting game.
We're on to Cincinnati, Jen. About it. Tuesday night. Cannot wait.
That's right. All right, we appreciate y'all for joining, and we'll see y'all soon.